Assalamu alaikum. A warm welcome to all the participants of this two-day virtual conference on teaching English online. It is organized by Center for Professional Development of Urdu Medium Teachers, in short CPDUMT, in collaboration with or in association with IMC Maulana Azad National Urdu University, Hyderabad. I, SM Fasiullah, host of this session, which is the third session of presentations in the seminar. Before we begin the formal proceedings of this session, I would like to invite Dr. Govindaya Godavarti as the chair of this session. Let me take this opportunity to introduce Dr. Govindaya Godavarti. He is an experienced teacher with 15 plus years of teaching experience at UG and PG level. He has taught students in various universities, including India's three topmost universities, University of Hyderabad, FLU, and Maulana Azad National Urdu University. He received education from the Telugu state. He did his research in English language education from University of Hyderabad. He has dual master's degrees, one from University of Hyderabad in applied linguistics and another in English literature and ELT from FLU. He has been a prolific writer. He has contributed various units for different courses of the syllabi of multiple universities, including Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University and Maulana Azad National Urdu University. His areas of interest in research are ELT, that is English language teaching, ESL, that is English as second language, Dalit literature, and others. His research papers have been published in Scopus Indexed, Care Listed, journals, and many other edited books. Recently, he has completed an international FDP offered by Open in association with Department of States of the United States of America. It is on content-based instruction. Now, with his permission, I would like to start today's proceedings and invite the first presenter of this session. Sir, shall I? Thank you. Now I call on Mr. Khan Hasnain Aqib from GN Azad Junior College of Education, Pusat, Maharashtra, to give his presentation on use of inductive method for teaching English grammar online in primary classes. Mr. Aqib, I welcome you.
Okay, thank you, and good morning, everyone. I definitely I'm grateful to everyone who gave us the opportunity to be the part of such a good program, such a fruitful program, because the nowadays online education has become a very talk of the town. So my topic is use of inductive method for teaching English grammar online to primary classes. Let me begin. The background of my topic is such as it goes. The COVID-19 pandemic has largely affected the system of education in India. English as a linked language is being taught with great significance and importance. We have ushered in the third decade of the 21st century, where there are various platforms and resources available for imparting quality education. But the onset of the pandemic has affected this advancement to a level where the recovery of the schooling days for children has become horribly difficult. When we talk about the method of teaching, so let us have a look at the introduction of the method of teaching. Method of teaching also is an important factor. The environment for learning of English language can be created if the teachers use innovative and live method of teaching. The traditional and boring method of teaching English will never create an environment conducive for learning of English language. When we talk about the method, another point that comes to my mind is what is the concept of method. So, if we simply put, a method means the way or manner of carrying out some activity after a good deal of effort and consideration. The term method is actually by nature ambiguous. Those who use this term themselves are not sure about when and how exactly to use it. A method is not strictly a technical term, it is a general term which means the way of doing something. This is the concept of method. There are many academicians and educationists who may have a slight difference with this, but these differences are definitely fruitful and very significant. When we talk about the grammar, so let us have the look at the educational significance of teaching grammar. We are not talking about the grammar itself as a content, but we are talking about the teaching of grammar because it is very crucial. Let us have a look. English grammar in the modern days is being taught in an integrated manner. There have been deliberations over this. Some Most of the educationists agree with this point, that it is taught in an integrated manner. It has become difficult to think about English grammar being taught separately. Although practically at rural level, when we uh, look at the rural scenario, we find that at rural level, it seems to be still in practice. What? The traditional way of teaching grammar. But okay, we are not talking about that. There are two basic and traditional methods of teaching grammar, namely deductive method and inductive method. Because grammar is only one part of teaching English of language. So teaching grammar online, when we talk, we directly come to the point when our topic of the seminar is teaching of English online. Because up to now, up to 219, it was not it was completely unthought of that we will be starting into the era, into the period where the online teaching will be in large practice. So teaching grammar online at primary stage, because teaching language itself at primary stage, that itself is a point of very grave and serious consideration. But when we talk about teaching grammar, this is only the suggestion. Teaching grammar online at primary stage, there are many schools and institutions wherein the arrangement for teaching grammar online has been made. Various schools are there throughout the country we are talking about. Then the teachers have especially designed the syllabus for the purpose. The classes thus reach the students at their homes in the form of online resources, while the teachers are using, when the teachers are sitting either in school or at their homes, and they are directly reaching to the homes of the students. This is the important part of teaching online. Then the links which the teachers create, these links are provided to the parents' WhatsApp number. Ab, what parents' WhatsApp number means, because the children at primary level are not able to get access to uh, online classes because the mobiles, they are not in possession of the mobiles. That is why their parents assist them. The students, with the help of their parents, it is the clarification of the earlier point. The students, with the help of their parents, open the link and begin learning grammar. And some points which are important to note here is grammar is generally taught in inductive way. The explanation of inductive method is as follows. When we talk about the inductive method, everybody has a good by the good introduction of inductive method, but it's still little. I think a brief revision will not be unsuitable. Inductive method is the method wherein the examples are given first and then the rules are taught later. Then teaching grammar online using inductive method is a little different from what we have been teaching offline. Here the difference comes. It is a bit more concerning for the teachers as well as for the parents. The classes are conducted with not only students but also the parents side by side so as to facilitate the learners. If there is any technical difficulties, your parents will be there to help them. The grammar, as this writer stated earlier, is taught in primary classes in integrated manner. There are not enough chances of learners understanding grammar using deductive method. So inductive method is better than deductive method for teaching grammar not only in offline classes but also in online classes. Leaving standards first, second, and third aside because clubbing together these three standards, first, second, and third, because considering their age group, the rest of the classes of standards fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh are in a better condition to understand grammar using inductive method, and particularly with reference to online teaching. Here we come to the conclusion of this my paper, the brief. The online English grammar teaching means the online teaching of English grammar is a phenomenal change in the pandemic era. The teachers are teaching grammar using inductive method nowadays, but the main concern is the proper and significant use of inductive method. It is for sure a useful method for teaching grammar if the teachers handle it properly. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present my paper in a brief manner. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Mr. Akib, for winding up your presentation in the allotted time. If the participants have any question, they can write in the comment box, and there are a few questions which are being asked. With every presentation, we'll take the questions and then we'll move forward. What about, there is a question from Khalid Hussain. He says, what
Okay.
about those children who have no access to internet? How to help them, sir?
Okay, that is a very good thing. See, when the question itself is containing the partial answer, because the students who are not having the access to the internet, definitely and by default they will not be having uh, the facility of online classes, because the online classes are possible only when the students and the learners are having the facility of access to internet. So without internet, definitely these classes are not they are out of consideration. So this is how we can sum up.
The
I
next
hope.
question is, yeah, yes, sir, thank you.
Okay.
The next question is it right to mention to the students at primary classes that they are being taught grammar?
No, this is, I have already made it clear in my paper. In this slide also, I have made it very clear that the grammar is being taught in integrated manner. So integrated manner means we deliberately we know that the teacher does not have to explain the student that we are teaching grammar. But and again, fourth, we are considering the classes fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. So that is why when we are dealing with the age group of students belonging to fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh classes, so there if slight introduction of grammar is there in the classroom. So definitely, I don't think there is any problem with that. But then also, as integrated grammar that we basically we deal with. Otherwise, deductive method is out of fashion. It is out of that method. But inductive method and that also in integrated manner. So I hope this itself is a very clear explanation.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Before I
Thank you.
call next presenter, I have a couple of things to share with you. Number one, each participant has 10 minutes to present their paper. I urge them and request them to make use of this opportunity to be as precise and as argumentative as possible. And one more thing is that towards the end of this session, the chair will share his experts' comments, and I request all the participants to post their questions. We are watching it, and we'll take up questions at the end of each presentation. Now I call on Mr. KMD Suhail from C. Abdul Hakim College. He will be presenting a paper on teaching English through online learning system. Mr. Suhail.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good morning to everyone. This is Muhammad Suhail from Abdul Hakim College, Tamil Nadu. My topic of presentation is teaching English online during pandemic. The educational institutions in India are based on traditional methods of learning. They follow the traditional setup of face-to-face lectures in a classroom. Although many academic units have also started blended learning, still a lot of them are stuck with old procedures. The sudden outbreak of a deadly disease called COVID-19 caused by a coronavirus shook the entire world. The World Health Organization declared it as a pandemic. With the spread of this virus, pandemic is the world's most significant threat to the global health security. As it spread, coronavirus is viewed as one of the most significant disruptions of human history recently. The effect of the pandemic is now starting to spread to the educational world. According to United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, the COVID-19 pandemic has arisen 1.37 billion students from 138 countries around the world, which impacts schools, colleges, and universities. The classroom is not home to nearly 60.2 million school teachers and university professors. Therefore, there are many colleges and universities worldwide that are used quick to move into the online class. In India itself, the traditional classes is still seen as real education. People still view online classes as one-sided and do not think online classes can help in children's education. So nowadays, there have been many startups engaged in education, especially online teaching. Based on Wikipedia, the coronavirus was confined to have spread in India in March 2020. As of April 2020, the pandemic has spread to all states in India. The lockdown is an emergency instruction that prevents people from leaving a certain area. The restrictions in any field, such as education field, are instituted by the Indian government agencies in daily routine during the lockdown time of COVID-19. The entire educational system, from elementary to tertiary level, is collapsed. Online learning has become a new trend of learning method and considered as the most relevant learning method today, especially in the COVID-19 outbreak, where the people are suggested to practice social distancing and avoid the crowd as a national pandemic preventive strategies. Many institutions or organizations are using e-learning because it can be effective as traditional training at a lower cost. Developing e-learning is more expensive than preparing classroom materials and training the trainers, especially if multimedia or highly interactive methods are used. There are certain factors why e-learning is appropriate to use. Number one, there is a significant amount of content to be delivered to a large number of learners. Right? Number two, learners comes from geographical dispersed locations. Three, learners have a limited mobility. Number four, learners have limited daily time devoted to learning. Number five, learners do not have effective listening and reading skills. Number 6, learners do not have effective speaking skills. Then number 7, learners have at least basic computer and internet skills. Okay, so these are all the some certain factors of e-learning in appropriate. Then implementation of online learning was carried out to reach out to students from different regions in India. Perhaps in most online classes, the students have a responsibility such as they do not have the time to sit in a classroom at a particular time. There are many advantages to teach English online. It can be sustainable, saving on transport, travel costs, and it reduces the printed material. It also allows flexibility in teaching students, learners, when the teachers away from college and the classrooms. Teaching online system is related to the use of technologies in constructing the systems infrastructure with adequate performance. Okay, the growth of online teaching also affects the recent development in information technology. As the technology has changed and grown, the learners can educate it at a distance, or we can say online teaching. Technology brings information into our lives to us about the world. In teaching online, technology is essential. It is not only as a background but also as a content for instruction in teaching, because it can be the place where the teaching and learning process occurs. In teaching online, the classes need technology and the internet as enhancement of what is happened in the face-to-face classroom. It is important to online teachers to know about the technology or the ability of a technical background to use new technology which can be delivered in teaching English online both effectively and efficiently. Each skills in using technology which the teachers have learned surely related to improvement of their teaching both online or face-to-face classroom. Technology is an important thing in the process of English language learning and teaching. The students can certainly learn English language by using technology, where there are many different types of technology which support English language teaching. Some of the benefits of online learning system: the use of e-learning, that is online learning, to support the learning process can increase students' comprehension of material taught. Number two, increase the active participation of students, develop the ability of students to learn independently, improve the quality of teaching materials and training, develop the ability to displace information with information technology device where ordinary device are difficult to do that. Then strategies for implementing online learning. Online learning strategy involve four stages. This is number one, namely analysis, implementation, planning, and evaluation. The first one is analysis factor that need to be analyzed into the needs of the organization in looking at the present situation and the existence of online learning in providing a positive impact. The planning, there is a planning aspect that needs to be considered, or network learning management system, materials, and the knowledge of management. Implementation, this stage requires good project management skills to ensure coordination and implementation of work in line with the plan and not to deviate from the subject and strategies. The last one is evaluation. Evaluation after implementing the e-learning plan, last stage is to evaluate the success of the program. Online learning as a medium for teaching English. Online learning as a model for almost all subjects can also be applied in language learning, including English. Web pages, as one of the menus offered in e-learning, can help teachers to teach English. Web pages have been grouped according to their domains, such as vocabulary, grammar, phonetics, and core language skills such as speaking, listening, reading, and writing skills. Through this menu, teachers can download textbook or teaching modules either free or with cost. Teachers can also share links or information to students about English. They can access English video as well, and both teachers and students will discuss about it. In addition, the use of web-centric pages also help teachers to communicate about learning materials and assess the students, speaking directly via virtual conference Applications that can be downloaded, such as Zoom, Cloud Meeting, Cisco Webex, Google Meet, and other similar applications. Teachers can invite dozens of students to have face-to-face interactions through online. Even examinations can be carried out online these days. Okay, then next point is the challenges in using teaching English online learning in the time of pandemic. Despite the advantages of e-learning modes to facilitate English learning in the time of pandemic, e-learning also has some challenges such as the unavailability of internet access, Wi-Fi, electricity, computer PC, and other infrastructure that supports the online learning process. Then the lack of cheaper softwares, learners don't feel motivated enough because students may end up feeling isolated and emotionally disconnected. Then poor levels of students' engagement. It is difficult to focus on a pixelated video screens when they hear some distraction sounds like that. Then lack of classrooms like teacher presence, the problem of skill and knowledge. Some teachers and students are unskillful and illiterate in using digital technologies. Okay. Then attitude toward ICT, understanding of importance of ICT in learning, including e-learning, needs to be encouraged persistently. And finally, the suggestions and so learning through online provides an interesting experience for students. In learning English, students can learn English specifically, that is listening, speaking, reading, and writing through real-world situations. Students feel a totally different learning sensation than conventional classes. Their access to information also drastically increased. Online learning offers interesting learning resources to students. Unfortunately, in this global pandemic, this online platform for virtual learning are still not working properly. Students and teachers have some technical difficulties with internet access. The internet services was so slow, or the student can't afford to make video calls and programs such as Zoom because it consumes more internet data. Online learning will run effectively if there are supports from institutions, government. Both of them must work together to realize the importance of technology-based education like online learning. Internet networks, computers, and other facilities and the infrastructures must be provided. If it is e-learning based on the web, it is necessary to have a student activity center, interactions between groups, system supporting administration, sharpening of materials, examinations, and online materials. In order to success online learning in education, the competencies of teachers in the use of information and technology must be continuously improved. Besides, it also requires expertise and creative teachers in providing and updating interesting learning materials we use through the e-learning system to achieve higher level of students' engagement. Teachers and students should be able to operate the e-learning features optimally and effectively. Institutions are also responsible for conducting training for the teaching staff, guide the students who are experiencing difficulties to log into online system. In last conclusion, online learning seems to be one and the only platform of teaching learning process in this COVID-19 pandemic. It cannot be replaced actual classroom interaction as is in conventional classes. The effective domain in education is also an important aspect needs to be encouraged in the success of learning. Students' attitude and motivation can be easily monitored and guided in conventional classes. The effective domain of education should be developed side by side with the cognitive and psychomotor domain. Online learning can continue to be developed as an active, innovative, and creative learning to complement face-to-face meetings in conventional classes. Lastly, the use and technologies of information in online learning should be able to create students to be more competitive students who can compete in globalization era of active, creative, but also have a good character. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Sohel, for presenting the paper. Now, before I call next presenter, I would like to take up questions posed in the comment box. Okay, so now I call on Sabah Khatun from the Department of Education and Training, Maulana Azad National Urdu University, to present a paper on online assessment practices in ESL classroom. Ms. Sabah Khatun.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. This is Sabah Khatun, Assistant Professor from the Department of Education and Training, Maulana Azad National Urdu University, Hyderabad. Today, I'm going to present my views on online assessment practices in ESL classrooms. So let us see what is online assessment. The year 2020 brought sudden change and whole range of new challenges in front of many fields, including education. Many educators in higher education were left with a choice to switch their exams and assessment practices online, considering COVID-19 scenario. However, the transition from offline to online evaluation and digital assessment platforms were also real learning experiences for educators and redirecting everyone to rethink about the curriculum design and best practices for educational evaluation. Could you please share my PPT? So let us see online assessment tools. So online assessment tools allow educators to create assessment activities which are easy and simple to administer. These tools let teachers select whether to conduct assessment activities live or give it as assignments to the students. There is also flexibility for written questions and spot questions also provided key features like instant results, that too with graphs, spreadsheets, and also instant automated grading system with the students. Now, I would like to share few assessment tools which can be used in ESL classrooms. Number one is quizzes. This is one of the prominent online formative assessment tools used in ESL classrooms that helps the teacher to create free gamified quizzes and can engage the learner in synchronous. That means the teacher can share the quizzes live in the classroom and as well as asynchronous way. Means the teacher can give the assignments, these games as the assignments with the proper deadline to the students. And many researchers consider quizzes as the most suitable online assessment tool in English teaching and learning. And many researchers also said that there are many advantages of using quizzes in English teaching and learning. The use of quizzes can add motivation to classroom activities as well as spark students' interest in the material being taught. Number two is Google Forms. So Google Forms have changed the way we traditionally use forms for. Now one can use forms not only to create a quick quiz for formative assessment, but also can prepare a proper test paper for summative assessment. It helps the teacher to choose from a variety of types of questions from the list given according to the purpose. This is one of the screenshots from my Google Forms. Here we can see there are a number of variety of questions, means type of questions we can select according to our need. We can select the options like short answer type questions or paragraph questions. And also we can give multiple choice questions, and checkbox is one other option which can help the student to choose from the multiple choice of answers. They can opt more than one option there. And there is also a drop down of option and multiple choice grid which helps the teacher to give the questions like match the following. So there is a number of options for the different forms of questions in Google Forms. The next one is Kahoot, and it is a game-based assessment tool where teachers can choose from more than 40 million ready-to-go learning games which are already available there at the Kahoot platform, or they can also create their own game within few minutes. And the teacher can host the games live in the classroom, or they can also share the links for the games as an assignment. And related to Kahoot, many researchers also considered Kahoot as a tool for vocabulary teaching and learning in English classes. And many researchers said that it is designed as a combination of the use of ICT in education and games, and is very applicable in English classes to improve students' learning. And of course, there are a large number of assessment tools which are available online. Some of them are Socrative, Nearpod, and Google Classroom, of course, and Padlet, Poll Everywhere, and Mentimeter are some of the online assessment tools that teacher can use. Now let us discuss the pros and cons of online assessment. The transition from offline to online evaluation and digital assessment platforms are really learning experience for educators, redirecting everyone to rethink the curriculum design and best practices for students' assessment and educational evaluation. However, online assessment came along with some recognized disadvantages too. So let us see what are the advantages. Number one, it is an eco-friendly assessment system. In the era where everyone is very much concerned about the environment, the traditional paper-based exams have adverse effect on the environment. Considering the extensive use of paper, steps must be taken to minimize the usage of natural resources. However, adopting an online evaluation system will ensure that educational institutions can go paper-free and safeguard the environment with minimal usage of papers, and the examination-related records can be saved digitally for any future references. Number two, it is economical. When considering the human resources, logistics, and administrative costs associated with the traditional paper-based exam setting, it is easy to figure out that online evaluation system is the most economical system to administer the exam at large scale. There is no need for students to group together in large spacious classroom to take the exam, and online exam do not require any renting a venue or hiring an invigilator for manual surveillance in the exam hall. And of course, it is highly secure, so there is no room for conducting wrongful activities and produce false or imprecise results or other such unlawful practices during the entire process of evaluation. Such a secure system leads to student satisfaction and reliability on the results, which in turn encourages positive academic growth of the students. It also encourages a more positive attitude towards the educational institution and build enhanced mutual trust between the teachers and students, ensuring overall transparency in the examination system and bias-free results. And this is an auto-graded system. The benefits of an online evaluation system involve setting up an automated grading system, more convenient than a traditional grading method. Automated grading finds the correct answers by comparing the student's answer against the given correct answer. And here MCQs are widely used in online assessments because they make automatic scoring quite easy. And of course, it saves the times and efforts. Traditional examination system is a time-consuming process for institutions and students as well. This includes the students who need to commute from long distances to their respective exam centers. Beside on-paper exam registration process, printing and issuing the admit cards, managing examinees and exam centers, and correcting the answer scripts is a time-investing process. Large amount of time spent by administration and students can be minimized with using an online test platform, which saves the time and effort, and this is one of the advantages of online testing. And quick or swift turnaround time. Traditionally, administering the exam demands ample time for end-to-end management. and the burden of conducting exam is known to everyone involving designing, managing, and evaluating from students to teacher. On the other hand, the online examination system has accelerated the process. It cuts down the time consumed in administering and managing paper-based exams, and the most significant aspect of the system is the instant generation of the results. Now we have discussed the advantages of the online assessment system. Now let us see what are the cons or what are the disadvantages of the system. Number one, unfamiliarity with the technology. Adopting a new examination system may create a minor intrusion and need familiarization of the methodology by the users. Any transition from traditional system to the online mode surely requires some investment from educational institutions to upgrade the systems. Whereas training both the students and the teachers about the transition is the ideal way in this regard. Such familiarization would educate students and teachers about the new features and advantages of an online examination system. Number two, infrastructure barrier. One of the major disadvantages of an online examination system can be faced in remote areas where electricity access, stable internet connection, and other basic requirements for the system are difficult to accommodate. Such barriers create hurdles in the online exams. Therefore, while switching to the online mode, administration must consider whether all pupils can appear for the exam and what are the arrangements made to ensure the inclusion of all the students in the exam. Number three, difficulty in grading essay type of questions. So we have seen that how to manage MCQs, and it is very easy to grade MCQs in online examination system. And now let us see, while grading the essay type of questions, even though online examination have eased the evaluator's job to much extent, the problem lies with this type of questions. Since the essay answers are subjective in nature, it requires manual grading, for which evaluators need to invest additional time in the process. Exposed to malpractices. So none of us can deny that one of the major drawbacks of online examination system is cheating. Especially in university exams, students often likely to make proxies, making universities suspect examiner's identity. Students can also get external help with smartphones or other devices. The systems used by the examinees also give multiple malpractice opportunities where they can connect with external storage device, and also they can use screen sharing options. Shift to open book exam. A traditional exam setting is that in which external material are not allowed inside the examination hall. On the other hand, the online exam cannot have such provision in the digital format. Hence, it is challenging to revoke the students from referring to their study materials during an online examination. Furthermore, there is a lack of supervision during the online exam sessions, which endangers the credibility of online exams. So here we can see the advantages and disadvantages of the online evaluation system. And even though technology continues to simplify the processes for educational institutions, teachers, and students, it has its own limitations. Nevertheless, adopting the right online examination platform can help avoid such drawbacks. A robust, secure, and easy to use examination platform with all the latest features of artificial intelligence based anti malpractice measures enables the institution to get credible immediate results. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sabah Khatun, for your presentation. Now, for next presentation, I would like to call Mr. Aleem Pasha from Anwarul College of Education, Hyderabad. He'll be presenting a paper on pandemic, ELT, and social change. I request Aleem Pasha to present the paper.
Honorable dignitaries on the dais, dear participants, myself Muhammad Aleem Pasha. First of all, I would like to thankful towards Professor Samir Siddiqui sir, who has given me an opportunity to present a paper. who is the director of CPDUMT, MANUU Hyderabad. So, without wasting my time, I am moving towards the paper presentation on pandemic, English language teaching, and the social change. As all of you are well aware about the COVID-19 pandemic, which affected the total global economy, then this tragedy also stunned the education sector globally, and this pandemic outbreak forced the many schools, colleges, and the universities to remain closed temporarily. And most of the private schools, they are not able to afford uh, the rents of the schools or the salaries of the teachers. For that reason, most of the private schools closed down, and as a social distancing that is preeminent at this stage, this would have also a negative impact on the learning opportunities, and various educational institutions struggle to find out the options to deal with this situation. And there is only one option, that is the online teaching learning process, which save our students, faculty members, academic staff, communities, and the societies, and the nation as a whole. So there is no need to be give the much and more introduction of the COVID-19 pandemic, as all of you are well acquainted with it. Then, as an English teacher, we should know English as a second language. We use this language as a second language because our first language is our mother tongue, which we learn in a natural environment. But English, it is learned in an artificial environment. That's why it is called as a second language. Uh, this English language we can learn in the artificial environment, and our mother tongue we can learn in the natural environment. And English language is very useful for the purpose of communication. In day-to-day life, we can use English language in the offices, marketplace, and bank, sometime even in the social gatherings. As all of you are well acquainted with it, English has much importance because it is a link language, it is international language, it is a library language, it is a language of trade and industry. So English is used as a secondary vehicle of communication within one's own culture and social context. So, if any person who knows the English, that person can live any corner of the world. So, it plays an important role. Then, when we are teaching English subject, we should know about what is online teaching, because this pandemic introduced us the online teaching, and already there are various platforms regarding the online teaching in the form of Swayam and the MOOCs, massive open online courses. So this online learning that always connected to the internet, and it can use in a long distance or not in a one place. So most of the students can study in the classroom or one place, but in certain condition, online learning for English language teaching, it can use as a distance learning. In distance learning, there are various types that are included, like the correspondence courses, telecourses, CD-ROM courses, and online learning and the mobile learning. So these are the various platforms for online teaching. There are various advantages about it, because accessibility is there. One can learn with their own pace whenever they are getting the time, and whenever they have, if any person have the interest about any of the course, that person can learn with their own pace, and it is suitable course for the degree program. We can learn it from home also. Then it can help the students in motivating at the time of the study, and it develops the confidence, self-esteem, and personalizes the self-experience. uh, One of the advantages is that it develops the cognitive abilities, like student can get much information and knowledge within access to internet active, and students can find many sources for the study, and it helps to develop their abilities. And online teaching is cost effect. One of the advantage of it is cost effectiveness. Online learning will be help the students and parents affordable, and one can well acquaint with the information communication technology, and one can learn the basic computer skills while learning any of the course. So there are various platforms for English language teaching. As we all have faced the COVID-19 pandemic, before that we didn't know about what is Zoom and what is Google Meet. But all these platforms introduced by the COVID-19 pandemic, this online learning is internet access, and there are various platforms like the WhatsApp, Zoom app, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, StreamYard, Gmail, and blogs. These are the various platforms to make an active teaching learning process. So first of all, we should study about what WhatsApp web. So it is very useful in our day-to-day life, because messaging for academic purposes using WhatsApp provide the students with the opportunities to interact and construct and share the knowledge. And instant messaging that is considered an effective tool for the learning and teaching through the social interaction. And it is about the text, video call, and voice message. We can send the link of Google Meet, we can send the link of StreamYard with the help of WhatsApp. And various schools are utilizing this WhatsApp web for teaching learning process, as well as for sending the timetable, then sending the question paper. It is much useful for the students for study material and collect the answer scripts also. Then next platform is the Zoom app. Zoom, it is an application that can be downloaded either on our computer or mobile device, and it is an application which provides the video and conferencing. And Zoom webinars are the special feature with up to 500 attendees, and it can be useful for the lecture series, webinars, and the conferences. There are some of the features which are useful for us in teaching learning process, there are some of the general features like host up to 100 participants, unlimited one-to-one meetings, 40 minutes limit on group meetings, then on unlimited number of the meetings and online support. And there are some of the video conferencing features like HD video, HD voice, active speaker view, and the full screen and gallery view, simultaneous screen share, joined by the telephone call-in and virtual background. These are the various video conferencing features which are useful in our teaching learning process for the Zoom platform. Then some of the web conferencing features like desktop and application sharing is there, personal room or the meeting ID, instant or the scheduled meetings, then Chrome and Outlook plugins are, then scheduling Chrome extensions. With the help of this, we can just collect the attendance of the student also. Then MP4 or M4A local recording is also available, private and group chat, then host control and raise hand. These are the some of the web conferencing features that are useful in our Zoom app platform. There are some of the group collaboration features like breakout rooms. It is supported by the Mac, Windows, Linux, iOS, and Android. Group messaging and the presence, then screen share, any iPad or iPhone app, then co-annotation on shared screen, then keyboard or mouse control, whiteboarding, multi-share. These are the various features regarding the group collaboration uh, in Zoom platform. So there are in Zoom platform we can use it in various point of view. like content sharing and collaboration. We can record and share the classroom sessions, then video breakout rooms and polling, then guest lectures and virtual field trips, online and hybrid classes, then student to student collaboration, academic advising, college and career counseling, administrative and staff meetings, instructor work groups, then parent and community communication. These are the various purposes we can use this Zoom platform. With the help of Zoom platform, teaching learning is effective. It is one of the virtual classroom, and student we can engage the student in our classroom, online classroom. Then one can develop. There may be the one can develop themselves professionally. Then community also engage with the platform of this Zoom app. These are the various benefits of Zoom app. Various schools in private sectors, uh, uh, various private sectors, they are using the Zoom app for their meeting. Now, second platform, that is the Google Meet. Google Meet is also one of the enterprise grade video conferencing available to everyone. Now, anyone with a Google account can create an online meeting with up to 100 participants and meet for up to 60 minutes per meeting. And business, schools, and other organizations can take the advantage of these advanced features, including meeting with up to 250 internal or external participants, and live streaming to up to 1 lakh viewers within a domain. So it is very easy to use. uh, it provides the real-time subtitles and allows the session to be saved. Audio and video quality is also good in Google Meet. Whiteboard, screen sharing, attendance features, these all are useful for the teacher. So how shall we use the Google Meet? There are some of the feature like unlimited number of the meetings, live captioning during the meeting, then compatible across the devices. Google Meet work on any device. Join a meeting from our desktop or laptop, Android. Uh, if we are working from home, we can also join a meeting from Google Nest Hub Max. And for organization that need the conference rooms support, then Google Meet hardware offers the affordable, high quality options for the purchase. And we can learn more about the Google Meet interoperability with non-Google systems. The next feature is the video and audio preview screen. After clicking our meeting code or link, we can adjust our camera and mic and see how we look before entering the meeting. There are some of the adjustable layouts and screen settings, then controls for meeting host, screen sharing with the participants, messaging with participants. These are the various free features of the Google Meet platform. Then we have the Microsoft Teams meeting. It is also an enterprise communication tool which takes the waste out of the traditional office of collaboration. It is not limited by hardware or software. It supported to Windows and Android. There is no need to be downloaded in our phone or desktop. It directly connects to the link. So there are some of the features like teams and channels, conversation within the channels and teams, chat function, and then document storage in SharePoint, online video calling, and screen sharing. These are the various features of Microsoft Teams. And like online meeting also we can conduct audio conferencing, and it is full telephony. uh, these are the various features of Microsoft Team. Then next platform, that is the StreamYard. This is my second time which is I'm using now. It is introduced by our MANUU, a StreamYard. It is also a live streaming studio in your browser. Interview guests, share our screen, and much more. So it is also very useful for us to utilize it because live shows we can share it in a multiple platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We can stream it simultaneously on all the platforms. Uh, there are some of the features like always look the professional and smooth every time. No software downloads. We can go live with guest browser in a few clicks, and it is a best tool for recording and multi-streaming to all the channels. It works with the seamlessly with Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and more. So this is also one of the best uh, platform for teaching learning process. Again, there are the blogs and emails. You are well acquainted about it. These are the various applications, or these are the various platforms that are useful for us in teaching learning process. Then there are some of the challenges. All of you are well acquainted with it, because as a teacher we are facing these challenges every day. There are so many challenges like unequal distribution of the ICT. If we compare rural area, urban area, we can find this unequal distribution of the ICT. Then quality of the education, digital illiteracy, a digital divide, and teaching cost. These are the various challenges which we have to be overcome on it. And social change through the online teaching. Uh, with the help of online teaching, we can reach out across the boundaries, working with the people with different beliefs and bringing ourselves together. Like MOOC have enabled literally thousands of the people to engage in focused learning together in such a way to foster the peer networks, peer assessment, and peer shared learning, all focused on mastery of a body of the knowledge. Whether for a short course or a long course, such as ICT, advantages and disadvantages that we know about it. Students can work together across the world to achieve the significant learning outcomes with the help of online teaching. Then advance social cohesion through the personal interaction by promoting respect and mutual understanding among the people through dialogue and partnership. So various communities, they can practice, and their interest can be part of the learning design, so that the students studying a particular topic that can reach out to others with expertise, knowledge, and experience, and engage with them as a part of their learning. And they can also share their learning back to the global community in effective and focused ways. So the next social change, uh, to promote the interfaith and intercultural cooperation, tolerance, and dialogue by sharing our differences and the similarities in an effort to enhance the civil society, promote the development of human values, advance diversity, and multiculturalism. Through the effective community engagement designed into the learning, perhaps through applied projects intended to have social impact, student can experience the challenges of cooperation and tolerance, and they are helping each other. So these are the various points regarding the social change through the online teaching. Daphne Kolar has quoted that online education then can serve two goals: for students lucky enough to have access to great teachers, blended learning can mean even better outcomes at the same or lower cost. And for the millions here and abroad who lack access to good in person education, online learning that can open doors that would otherwise remain closed. So the students can accessing the great teachers in the platform of online teaching. If this online platform is not available, there may be the possibility they would miss about the great teachers in teachers fraternity. So this is the bibliography and websites which I have used for this paper. Thank you very much for all the Maulana Azad National Urdu University CPDUMT team for providing an opportunity to present a paper on pandemic, ELT, and social change. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ali, for your presentation. There is one question for you, asked by Sumaya Kausar. How can the writing skills of primary school students be improved using online tools?
These are the online platforms. Which one is better? We try how eclectic approach we are using according to the age group of the student, according to the uh, class of the student. So we have to be uh, just to apply these platforms based on their age group of the student. For primary level, there may be need of the research. How shall we improve regarding the writing skills at primary level? Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. There is
Okay.
one presenter, Muhammad Azhar, who could not join us. So therefore, now I would request our esteemed guest and chair of the session, Dr. Govindaya Godavarthi, to share his experts' comments on the presentations. Dr. Govindaya Godavarthi.
Hello, everyone. It's indeed a pleasure listen to many paper presenters. Some of them are very thought-provoking, insightful. Some of them very comprehensive papers. I'm really glad to be part of in this group today. But when I started my teaching career here, I mistakenly thought it was not the right place to do teaching language or literature. But last 2 years, if you look at the way the teaching entire system working through online, so maybe we can think to explore more and to do a research on netiquettes. These are the important areas. Again, some of them are indirectly focused on what are the outcomes, the learning outcomes, how these learning outcome based education can really impart. Then again, how these OER, open educational resources, to how to use them and the appropriation of the materials and using authentic materials in the open world. The materials are really a lot now. The way we really have this online professional educational network, how these really making this. If you really have these diverse papers today, the first presenter, Hasnain Akib, he talks about the teaching grammar, methods of ELT and integration, how the content and integrate with the teaching grammar. That's the first paper. He has given some of the insights through the paper. And the second presenter, Suhail, is also talks about the blended learning and online language learning and teaching, how these resources can be used, and that are the strategies which is useful for the language teaching and learning. So these are the challenges he has really posed through his presentation. The Sabah Khatun, she started with ESL assessment and the quiz, and the way we can really create the motivation for the students to assess the assessment of the learners, and how these Google Forms and the testing tools. She has given a very vast and comprehensive ideas she put forward with us. There's a Kahoot. There's one of the software she really used it. Yeah, this software is really useful for many of the teachers can really have the acquaintance with this use. And again, the Alim Pasha, the last presenter, pandemic, ELT, and social change. So here he used online resources, online platform tools, how these features really help us to understand, to integrate this digital inequality or multiculturalism impact on the social change. This how I'm very happy to listen to all the presenters. So maybe if you tried best today, things did not work out. But just remember, tomorrow, try again. So this how we can really see this. Thank you for this opportunity for the CPDUMT director, and my best wishes and congratulations to all the team. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank all participants, especially the paper presenters in this particular session. And I once again would like to thank Dr. Govindaya Godavarti, the chair of this session, for taking out his valuable time and sharing his own experts' comments with us. For the next session, I would like to call Dr. Samad to begin the next session. Dr. Samad, the host of the next session.
A very good afternoon to all of you, respected dignitaries and my beloved friends. I am Dr. Samad TV, Assistant Professor, Department of Education and Training, MANUU Hyderabad. We have gathered here on this virtual platform in the second session of the second day of the two-day national seminar on teaching English online conducted by Center for Professional Development of Urdu Medium Teachers, MANUU Hyderabad. Let me take the pride of welcoming all of you to this program. First of all, on behalf of Center for Professional Development of Urdu Medium Teachers, MANUU, I would like to extend heartfelt thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Syed Ainul Hassan Sir, and to the respected Registrar in Charge, Professor Siddiqui Muhammad Mahmood Sir, for giving us an opportunity to conduct this seminar. To chair this session, we have got an eminent academician, Dr. S. Muhammad Faiz, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Lucknow Campus, Maulana Azad National Urdu University. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation to chair this session and being a part of this program. Let me very briefly introduce our chairperson to all of our guests. Dr. S. Muhammad Faiz has obtained his PhD in English from Lucknow University. He has completed his MPhil from IFLU Hyderabad. He has a great experience of nearly 2 decades in teaching English in various institutions inside and outside the country. He has authored 3 books and a large number of publications in national and international journals. He has presented more than 25 papers in national and international seminars and conferences. He has delivered invited talks and lectures in various institutions at college and university level. No doubt, we have got a very bright, eminent, and young personality to chair this session. I heartfully welcome you, sir, to this session.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, sir, thank you. And we have a couple of papers to be presented here, and all the paper presenters have joined online. I welcome all of you and extend the best regards to each and every one of you. And of course, I see there are a large number of teachers, research scholars, and students watching this program online. I welcome each and every one of you to this program. I know that you are very eagerly and passionately waiting for the program, and you are most welcome to this session. Now, with the permission of the chair, let us start the paper presentation. it is my request to all the paper presenters to be ready for your presentation in all aspects, and the time allotted for each paper presenter is 6 to 7 minutes, and soon after the presentation you will get a few minutes to respond to the questions and comments made by the audience if there are any. Then you please be very brief. Please make your presentation very brief, and um, take the matter of time into your conscious. Then I have one request to the audience. You please drop your questions in the chat box, and after the presentation, you will get the remarks or comments of the presenter regarding your questions. So, without making any delay, let us start the presentations. Uh, First, we have uh, the first paper presenter is Ms. Khairunisa from MANUU Hyderabad. Madam, you please come forward and present your paper. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Samad TV, and a very good afternoon to all of you. Okay. So the topic I have chosen for this is teaching drama online, challenges and possibilities. And in this paper, I'll be mainly focusing on these aspects, right? In this paper, I hope to shed some light on possible ways of teaching drama online. I'll be specifically focusing on teaching drama to postgraduate students. These insights are arrived at having taught drama to students over the years. The pandemic, however, has forced us all to reevaluate and reassess our own methodology and come up with new ideas to meet the challenge of keeping students interested in online classrooms. Through this paper, I hope to share with you what little I have learned and what worked in my classrooms. This perhaps could be considered a preliminary action research in teaching drama online. However, further study still needs to be carried out. The way drama is taught in theatre classrooms is very different from the way drama is taught in literature classrooms. In theatre or performing arts departments, the focus is on the performance or enactment of the text. In literature departments, texts are read with the hope of delineating various hidden meanings within the text for its socio-political and historical relevance, for understanding the use of various dramatic techniques, for its aesthetics, etc. However, a play cannot be taught without paying attention to the performance aspect of it. Similarly, a play cannot be successfully performed without trying to understand the deeper meanings the text convey. So, even in literature classrooms, we cannot completely ignore the performance related aspects of the text, as no playwright writes a play merely to be read. In their article, Jessica Riddle argued that, and I quote, attempting to teach theatre in an English literature course is a daunting prospect, a far cry from the highly individual experience of reading a novel or a poem. Theatre is
Hello, Miss Khairunisa. Madam,
yes.
1 minute. Sorry for interruption. You
Yeah.
please make your screen into full screen. Please click on F5. F5.
Okay. It's full screen only.
Please
Is
click
it?
on F5.
Is it now?
You please reshare it.
Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Please close it and open once again. I'm sorry.
Okay, okay. Sorry, I had actually shared it full.
On your keyboard, you press plus on F5, madam.
Is it okay now?
First, you have to share. First,
Okay.
you have to
Okay,
share your
okay, okay.
PPT.
I had already shared it. Okay, 1 minute. Just give me a moment. I'm sorry about this. Is it okay? Hello? Hello?
Press F5.
Please press on F5, ma'am.
I've already done that. In my screen, it shows full screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Then
Is
okay,
it?
ma'am. You please carry on.
Yeah, because I've already done that. In mine, it is, I don't know what is the glitch. I'm sorry about it.
I think we
Okay.
can go ahead.
Once more, you please try. There is a bucket in the bottom right corner. 68%. Besides 68%, there is a small bucket like. Please click on it.
Is it okay now? No? Can I
Sorry,
just
ma'am.
carry?
Sorry, ma'am. It's not okay. बोल दिया.
Okay, this has to happen now. I'm really sorry. But in mine, I've pressed F1. It is in full screen. Can I just go ahead?
Yes, ma'am. You please go ahead. Sorry
Yeah.
for interruption. You please go ahead.
Yeah. Because otherwise, time also will be an issue.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. But are you able to see?
Yes,
No,
now it
no.
is visible.
It's visible, right? Okay.
Yes.
The slides, I suppose, are not changing.
Yeah, because I put one slide. Can you see objectives of the paper right now?
No, it is in the first slide now. Teaching drama
First,
online.
Okay.
Challenges and possibilities.
Yes. Now you can see, right? Objectives of the paper.
Sorry, ma'am. The slide is not changing. Yes.
now it's okay.
That's okay?
Yeah, teaching drama online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ma'am, please now click on the full screen thing.
Is it fine? Fine?
I think we can go ahead with this.
Yes.
Okay.
Please go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but in mine it is showing as a full screen, so I'm not able to guess what the glitch is. Sorry about that.
This is one of the aspect of online teaching.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm not able to figure out because in mine it is full screen. So anyway, I
No
think
issue, ma'am. You please carry on.
yeah. So I'll read out the headings if possible, so that others can have a sense of if they are not able to see. Okay. Yeah. May I continue?
Of course.
Yeah. So, in their paper, Jessica Riddle argued that attempting to teach theatre in an English literature course is a daunting prospect, a far cry from the highly individual experience of reading a novel or poem. Theatre is both a visual and communal kind of engagement. It is a challenge to capture this medium in a traditional lecture-based classroom, and harder still to convey its three-dimensionality, unquote. It becomes even more challenging, I would say, to teach it online. Online teaching has become one of the defining features of education during pandemic. Most teachers, students, as well as universities had to make this move abruptly without adequate training or measures in place. However, this has offered teachers opportunities to try new ideas and methods in classrooms with the help of technology. In this paper, I'll try to trace some of the challenges that I have come across while teaching drama online during the period of pandemic and discuss some of the techniques which have helped me navigate teaching drama in virtual mode. Many of the challenges faced in online teaching are not specific to any particular discipline or genre. However, Following are some of the challenges faced during online teaching. I'm just hoping that you are able to see it. But the first one of the challenges that I had faced was accessibility. One of the realities that teachers had to face was the unequal socioeconomic backgrounds of the students. Unlike many other countries which have bridged this gap, unfortunately, this is not the case here. Accessing internet was easier for some students than for the others. Few didn't have a smartphone and as a result weren't able to attend online classes. Certain others found it difficult to afford the mobile internet data package. There had been few cases as the pandemic continued where students had to sell their mobile phones to meet medical and other expenses of the family. Continuous internet access was only a dream to students from rural areas and from Jammu and Kashmir. And as a result of which, the other aspect is reduced enthusiasm and engagement. In online classrooms, as the students often keep their cameras off, after a while they tend to feel disconnected and as a result experience a reduction in their enthusiasm to actively engage in the classroom, and that becomes a challenge for us teachers. Right? And added to that, the lack of study or workspace in households, that was another factor. Most of the students did not have separate study or workspace in their houses, which resulted in making it difficult to concentrate and engage in the class. Some of the students who were active in in-person or face-to-face classrooms hesitated to speak up in online classes as they were amidst their family and due to the disturbances around. Since students were uncomfortable either to speak or switch on camera, it becomes difficult for the teacher to insist on active engagement. This also makes it difficult for the teacher to understand students' reaction to the material taught in the classroom, as the teacher is unable to read their facial expressions, which often serve as an instant involuntary feedback that help the teacher in an in-person classroom. Another challenge for mainly for the students was social and cognitive aspects. We need to understand learning not only as a process of information transfer, but as a social and cognitive process. In in-person classroom, students get to interact with their classmates during and after class. Such interactions often give rise to interesting discussions and insights in the classroom. In online classes, such interactions are doesn't happen because they are physically removed. Teamwork then often takes backseat in these classes, online classes, and it becomes very difficult to carry out teamwork, and that was another challenge. In in-person classes, while teaching drama, students are often encouraged to perform parts or scenes of the play. This is often done by dividing class into groups, and in each group they collaborate, some working on the script and others on the performance. They then perform the selected part in front of the class. Some may perform the part as it is in the text, some present a modern interpretation of the text, while others may even subvert or offer a critique of the text through their performance. Such interactions help students to develop various social skills apart from actively engaging with the text. Unfortunately, role playing and group performances are almost impossible in online platforms. Another challenge which the students found was added household responsibilities. During the pandemic, as the students are at their homes rather than in the university, they have added often come in the way of their classes. One notices that these responsibilities are often gendered in nature. Female students often complain that they aren't able to get the assigned readings or tasks done since they are expected to do household chores, and as a result of which they often end up missing classes. Male students who come from economically weaker sections or the families whose income were badly affected during the pandemic often complain that they are expected to work to supplement family income. As a result, they are not able to attend the class regularly. This not only hampers their academic performance, but also takes a toll mentally and emotionally. These students often feel left out from academic activities and hence tend to get anxious and worried about their academic prospects. One of the reasons for this is that they are away from their peers and hence feel isolated in their academic journey. Now, I will come to some of the possible ways we can possible ways of teaching drama online. It is often difficult to replicate the face-to-face classroom teaching in an online classroom. However, the pandemic has forced us all to reassess and find ways to adapt to this new challenge. Teaching drama online poses many challenges unlike other genres, as performativity and enactment plays a vital role in enhancing the understanding of a play. Despite these challenges, online platforms do offer certain exciting possibilities, and one of which is flexibility. Unlike regular classrooms, online classes offer certain flexibility to both teachers and students. In online classes, teachers can assist the students who are unable to regularly attend the class due to various reasons by recording the class lectures and sharing it with them so that they are not left behind. This process not only helps the students who miss the classes, but also others to revise it at their leisure. This has been of immense assistance to students who suffer due to lack of stable internet. Also, teachers who aren't able to take a class on a particular day can compensate by recording a lecture and sharing it with the students. This, however, needs to be followed by offering students the opportunity to ask questions and clarify doubts either in the following class or through Google Classrooms. And if the teachers have their own university domain, then it becomes much more easier because that allows you to have a lot of space. Then the use of online resources, effective use of it. There are abundance of resources available online and the links of which can be shared with the class. Many playwrights have dedicated websites with a lot of resources related to their plays, including details of various performances. This offers the students insights into the aspects related to production and performance. Watching a live performance is often a remote possibility to most of the students, and recorded videos of performances by reputed production houses can be an invaluable resource to both teachers and students. Most of these performances are also available free on YouTube. Asking students to watch different productions of the same play leads to interesting observations and exciting discussions in the classrooms. Also, it helps to bring home the idea that every performance is an interpretation of the text. As I had earlier mentioned about group discussions and how difficult it is. So one of the things we could try was asynchronous group discussions. Importance of group discussions in a literature classroom cannot be stressed enough. It is essential to integrate discussion-based techniques with the lectures to change students' passive and receptive attitude and help them be active participants. Monica Manzolio, in her article, Teaching Literature Through Online Discussion in Theory and Practice, argued that, I quote, integrating discussion-based techniques with the predominant lecture mode is necessary because we need to modify students' merely receptive attitude and help them develop the fundamental skills of reading, interpreting, and criticizing literary texts. Compared to live discussions, electronic communication has the advantage of providing a more relaxed atmosphere where social conventions are less important and this encourages positive interaction among students, unquote. Unlike live discussions, online discussions through platforms like Google Classrooms and Google Groups have the advantage of offering students with a more relaxed atmosphere. It also enable students who hesitate to speak up in classroom an opportunity to take part in the discussion and offer their views and opinions. Also, students who have missed the class get to be part of the discussion. And another thing that I had tried was dramatic reading of selected parts from the text. As mentioned earlier, teamwork, performances, and collaborations are integral to teaching drama in regular literature classroom. Such performances rely heavily on physical presence of all the participants, students, as well as the teacher, to be accomplished effectively.
It's me,
Facial
Arunisa,
expressions,
madam. Hello.
gestures, body. Yes.
You please make it brief and come to the
Yeah,
concluding part.
this is the last point.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for the heads up. Um, Facial expressions, gestures, and body language in general are intrinsic to such activities. Since it is difficult to replicate it in an online classroom, one of the ways to circumvent this is by asking students to choose their favorite part, dialogue or a soliloquy from the text, or alternatively, they can be assigned important portions from the text to be prepared and dramatically read aloud in the classroom. This helps students to actively engage with the text and also to get a feel of performance. This also offers the students a chance to interpret the text in their own way. Uh, I would like to conclude by saying that though in virtual classrooms, students might feel isolated and anxious, however, by incorporating some of the ideas discussed above, probably we can help them be part of the online learning teaching experience. Thank you everyone for your patience. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank the director, CPDUMT, Professor Mohammad Sami Siddiqui, and our chair, Dr. Mohammad Fayaz. Thank you. And I'm absolutely sorry for the technical glitch. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Khairunisa N, for your wonderful presentation. So far, we didn't get any question from the audience, and now let us move to the next paper presenter. The next paper will be presented by Dr. Said Aman Ubaid, Director of Distance Education, MANUU Hyderabad. Associate Professor, Director of Distance Education, MANUU Hyderabad. You please come forward and present your paper. Sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Welcome to all of you. Myself, Dr. Syed Aman Ubaid. And the topic of my presentation is visual literacy and teaching English online. Friends, as we all know that education sector is one of the deeply hit sector of life since the outbreak of this COVID pandemic. Guidelines have been coming from Government of India, state governments, and local bodies from time to time since the outbreak, with the statement that online distance learning shall continue to be permitted and shall be encouraged. Initially, teachers were panicked due to the sudden exposure to online teaching. And then we accepted the reality that there is no way out other than embracing online teaching, and this pandemic is not going to over soon. Gradually, teachers learn to carry out the process of teaching online through different conferencing tools and online platforms, creating e-resources like e-textbooks, e-text, videos, PPTs, images, etc. Even those teachers who could not operate computers and are reluctant to make simple PowerPoint presentations are now running classes through their mobiles, sharing learning experiences in WhatsApp groups, making instructional videos, and running their own YouTube channels. So pandemic has been manifesting online teaching skills of our teacher. So online education is a new normal now. Herodotus was considered as who is considered as the father of history, rightly said, circumstances rule men. Men do not rule circumstances. So ultimately, the overall circumstances of the COVID-19 pandemic have been shaping and setting up the strong foundations of online and blended education in the country. Friends, as we know that every classroom has various types of learners: visual learners, or oral learners, intrapersonal learners, kinesthetic learners, etc. Visual learners learn through visuals, oral learners learn through listening, kinesthetic learners learn through physical activities, whereas intrapersonal learners learn through self-study. Many research studies were done on students' styles of learning. Let's look at the findings of some of the research studies. Jensen found that visual information is transferred quickly. Our eyes can register 36,000 visual messages per hour. Approximately 65% of the population are visual learners. 90% of the information that comes to the brain is visual. Only 10% of secondary students are auditory learners, whereas 80% of the instruction is delivered orally. Visual information develops understanding. Any information that we receive with any kind of meaning or usefulness to us is retained in our long-term memory. Visual information is memorable. Viewers retain 95% of a message when they watch it in a video compared to 10% when reading it in a text. So our our learning is mainly visual. That is a saying that a picture is 1,000 words. Learning a picture is worth 1,000 words. Learning to read pictures, images, visual communication is fundamental to all types of learning. A child learns to communicate in sign language, distinguish people, understands facial expressions, and further learns to speak in his or her mother tongue before taking admission in a school. So it is only possible because a child associates sounds with visual images, persons, and objects. Hence, learning from visual is innate to human beings. Friends, we are living in the age of ICT, and that is full of visuals. Visuals are everywhere, at every place, on every book, on every paper, on every signboard, on every road, in every building, on every product, on every gadget, and almost every means and medium of communication carries visuals. Hence, visual literacy has a great role to play in education and particularly in language education. And in this paper, I would like to think over the role of visual literacy in our English textbooks and consequently in teaching English online. It has a big stake in English textbooks and online classroom interaction. Friends, the term visual literacy was coined by John Debes in 1968. Let's try to understand its meaning through his definition. According to him, visual literacy refers to a group of vision competencies a human being can develop by seeing and at the same time having and integrating other sensory experiences. The development of these competencies is fundamental to normal human learning, and when developed, they enable a visually literate person to discriminate and interpret the visible actions, objects, symbols, natural or man-made, that he encounters in his environment. Through the creative use of these competencies, he is able to communicate with others. Through the appreciative use of these competencies, he is able to comprehend and enjoy the masterworks of visual communication. These are some other definitions. In short, visual literacy is the ability to make meaning out of visuals and the ability to communicate through visuals, which develops critical thinking and enhances the intellectual capacity of students. Friends, the present generation of teachers has been witnessing the before and after of digital technologies. We have been witnessing the changes in our textbooks, from black and white textbooks to colorful textbooks, from simple images to infographics, from printed books to ebooks, from multimedia books to multi-mode books, integration of videos and other resources through QR coding, so on and so forth. All these changes in textbooks are the result of continuous researches and development in the field of education. The progress of printing technology facilitated the production of high-quality English textbooks. We are able to use a variety of colorful pictures and visuals in English textbooks. Nowadays, textbooks try to cover all types of learners, particularly visual learners, because they form the majority of the classroom. After going through English textbooks of Telangana state from standard 1st to 10th, I would like to mention my general observations on how contents of English textbooks are interwoven with visual literacy to facilitate learning of English language and development of different skills. Almost every chapter or unit of English textbooks deals with one or more core values mentioned by National Curriculum Framework or educational policies of the country, such as the inculcation of scientific temper, protection of the environment, removal of social barriers, etc. In this slide, you can see in the chapter The Unlucky Face, a picture is given and students are asked to answer some questions. In the chapter Plant a Tree, a picture is given with some questions for discussion, and then students are asked to enact a role play based on the situation shown in the picture. So in textbooks, such themes are introduced with the help of pictures, and different theme-based oral and written activities are given to sensitize students along with developing their mental, affective, and psychomotor skills. The text of prose and poetry is visualized side by side for comprehension. Situations, scenes, characters, processes, information, statistics, etc. are given in the form of pictures, images, graphs, timelines, maps, concept maps, cartoons, etc. to facilitate understanding of the content in the simplest way possible. In the slide, you can see the visualization of the process of respiration. An example of junk food are given in pictures. So examples of junk food are given in pictures. So the text is visualized. English textbooks are activity oriented and full of interconnected activities intended to develop language skills with the help of visuals, such as listen and draw pictures, listen and draw a map, listen and color picture, look and write, look and describe, look and answer questions, look and read, look and role play, write stories based on the pictures, developing conversations based on the pictures, so on and so forth. In this slide, you can see that pictures are used instead of the text in a story. In another chapter, a picture is given and students are asked to write a story on whatever they are seeing in that picture. So LSRW skills are associated with visuals. The functional grammar is promoted in these English textbooks. Rules are explained with the help of visuals, and use is emphasized rather than rules. Students are encouraged by giving visual clues to frame sentences and make use of grammar in their speech and writing. Grammatical items like prepositions can be explained through visuals. In the second picture, you can see a table is given where age, weight, and height of boys and girls are given, and students are asked to make 20 sentences on degrees of comparison. So functional grammar is promoted with the help of visuals. Picture associations are used to teach vocabulary. Activities like look and write, read and draw the picture, etc. provided for practice and visual memorization. You can see in this slide, emotions are explained with the help of emojis. In another example, a word puzzle is given with some clues. So vocabulary is also presented with visuals. Then study skills are also interlinked with visuals like tables, charts, and graphs. In the slide, you can see a table of content is given and some questions are asked. In another example, a notice board is given and some questions are given so as to enable students to read and comprehend information given in such forms. Then students are asked to process and interpret information and convert the information from one form to another, such as text to table, text to concept map, text to timeline, graph to text, text to picture, and vice versa. In an example, students are asked to develop mind maps on furniture and medicinal plants. In another example, students are asked to develop a timeline on the important events from the life of P.T. Usha. So in short, English textbooks are complementary to develop the visual literacy of students. Teachers should make appropriate and maximum use of these visuals to develop the visual literacy of students and carry out each and every activity associated with the visuals in online teaching environment. Friends, teachers can also use or adapt online resources available on the internet to optimize the visual experience of the students in teaching learning process, such as videos, photographs, illustrations, infographics, pictographs, typography, interactive tools like Mentimeter. The selection of online resources should be based on the needs and requirement of the content and learning outcomes. Teachers can also create their own visuals by using different photo and video editing softwares. Online teaching provides the platform and tools to easily integrate these resources in teaching. Teachers should remember that one can use these resources freely only for classroom teaching purposes. Teachers should refer copyright features of resources before publishing any teaching content online or offline. Nowadays, teachers are mostly using conferencing tools like Zoom, Google Meet, WebEx, etc. for teaching English online. In my opinion, teachers should keep some points in mind while teaching English online. The most important is that every visual carries lots of information in it. If a teacher consider it as a support tool only, then he or she may skip by asking one or two questions on it. Teacher should consider visual as a significant component of teaching. They should consider visuals as a whole package of information. These visuals are learning aids rather than teaching aids. Then teachers should explain the nature of activity and rules of interaction before starting the activity to avoid noise and indiscipline in online classroom environment. Please don't rush to complete the discussion or interaction on visuals. Let the students grasp each and every aspect of the visual. They should give sufficient time for discussion on visuals while teaching English online. Encourage students to participate in discussion or answer the questions. If they are not able to answer, give them clues. Teachers should understand the integration of visuals with the text and other media is very important. The activities that textbooks are designed in the textbook are designed to facilitate this integration. Lastly, I will say that teachers should follow a step-by-step approach for teaching, for integrating visuals in their online teaching. This step-by-step approaches, the steps are look, see, describe, analyze, interpret, and communicate. This sequence will activate mental processing of information, understanding the intended message or theme, and develop skills of communication in different ways. In the first step, you see, the screen of mobile or computer dominates the span of attention of students. This screen should be used to catch and keep the attention of students. The visuals should be properly projected on the screen. Teachers should make students active viewers. Teachers should ask them to look into every bit of the visual. Teachers should introduce the names and features of all types of visuals to students. Then in the third step, teachers should encourage them to have in second stage, they should encourage students to have interactions by posing perceptual, structural, and critical questions, by allowing them to ask questions, by giving them clues on subject, theme, color, angles, actions, symbols, signs, vectors, light, shade, facial expressions, gaze, gestures, shapes, discussions, objects, etc. Then for facilitating the analyzing process of students, teachers should pose some critical questions on the theme and message of the visual. Teachers should facilitate students to distinguish, differentiate, comprehend, compare, connect, categorize, and relate with the visual. The second last step is interpretation. A teacher should facilitate students to interpret visuals in terms of purpose, subtext, context, show cause effect, and overall meaning of the visual. And the last step is communication or application of the visual into different activities and exercises, such as creating timelines, concept maps, role plays, conversations, LSRW exercises, and many more. Many activities can be added by a teacher in addition to textbook activities such as caption or photograph, developing timelines, taking photos, recording videos, creating infographics, and generating memes. On WhatsApp, Facebook, and other social media platforms, we are witnessing that how people are making creative use of visuals to express themselves. So such activities will develop students' visual communication. Friends, lastly, I will say that it is important for teachers to integrate visual literacy into pedagogy of online teaching to meet students' needs, requirements, learning outcomes, and promote lifelong learning. Melissa Morse, an American children's book author, rightly said, not only is writing more important than ever, but visual literacy is vital. We don't teach enough design, art, visual things. We have to recognize what we are seeing. It matters if you send someone a cluttered design. It matters more than ever. Lastly, I will say visual literacy matters in teaching English online because it matters in developing language skills, study skills, information skills, and teaching universal values to our students. These are some references used for this paper. Thank you very much indeed for all.
Thank you, Dr. Saeed Aman Obed, for presenting such a fantastic paper here. So far, we didn't get any question in the chat box, but we have received so many appreciations and green signals. We thank our audience for sending such remarks. Now let us move to the next paper. The next paper will be presented by Dr. Mudassar Ahmad Gori, Assistant Professor, Directorate of Distance Education, MANUU Hyderabad. Dr. Mudassar, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Samad. I have taken this opportunity to present my paper on pandemic crisis, teaching, and social change. The worldwide lockdown imposed at the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic created a dilemma over the continuation of on-campus classes for students right from kindergarten to that of the research scholars studying in universities. The semester got interrupted midway and learners were missing out the traditional classrooms. Administration around the world deliberated on how to keep this teaching learning process going, and it did not take long when finally, unanimously, everyone agreed that we should conduct online classes. Therefore, a host of apps was readily dished out and deployed for the students' community. There were many social events and episodes also. In the light of all these things, my paper, therefore, is a document of observation that I've experienced during this pandemic period. This global lockdown of the coronavirus pandemic has put under restriction more than a third of world's population. Mandatory quarantines, curfews, closure of schools, non-essential business activities, work from home directives, ban on gatherings of more than 2 people, travel restrictions with the closing of international borders have left the world struggling with day-to-day activities. After more than 2 months of strict lockdown in the subcontinent, people were craving to lift the ban on it. Confined to their homes, people wanted to get back to the routine they had been living before the arrival of the corona. Meanwhile, real heroes, first responders, and doctors have been working tirelessly to serve the humanity. With everyday life thrown off the track, there was a great deal of learning. And as we know that every ordeal comes with a lesson, and this was no different. The first thing that we all learned is that we could limit our use of resources, natural or otherwise. The temporary closure of business has given us the gift of the discovery of our resourcefulness, where we realize that the rich do not owe any superiority for the preference of obtaining essential commodities. Having loads of money in bank accounts would by no means be a ticket of happiness or preferential treatment during an epidemic. When something strikes as deadly as coronavirus, it is as merciless to the rich as it is to the poor. No rich has ever been historically recorded to bribe disease or death into sparing him. We have also learned that the privilege extends only to the events that we can control, and the events that are beyond our control cannot differentiate between rich or the poor. With more than 300 million students enrolled in on-campus institutions in India, a plethora of options have come up for the continuation of the online classes. A majority of students in India were exposed to digital learning only when they needed to gather more information than what textbook was offering. From searching for solution of snacks encountered in schools or college projects to reading current and advanced course topics to compete online academic quizzes or contests, students have done it all. But they had not experienced online education as full-fledged as it is of now. The first couple of days of digital learning were riddled with a lot of hiccups, where most of the learners and teachers had to get adjusted to downloading compatible mobile applications, signing up, or setting preferences. India is the second largest market for online courses after US, and e-learning has developed very popularly over the years. Higher education students have had, one way or the other way, been using this option for long, but the majority of the students come from the schools who have joined the online classes in the wake of the lockdown. Students belonging to the newer tech-savvy generation are enjoying the benefits of online classrooms, which offer a wide range of feasible features and options. For them, it's a break from the face-to-face interaction and campus-based learning, a chance to explore the recent trends in technology and putting to a better use of digital resource than just simply playing games or watching music videos. From submitting assignments to meeting deadlines, to become digitally responsible is what kids are learning from prevailing situation. Though attuned to the traditional method of classroom learning, the zealous student community quickly adopted to this novel method of attending online classes. The interesting part is that instructors accustomed to the conventional method of teaching in a brick and mortar institutions have also easily accommodated to this contemporary approach in their routine. Nevertheless, everyone soon got used to this mode of teaching and learning, and there has been no looking back ever since. The online classroom model has both teachers and learners exploring for better utilization of digital resources and finding effective ways to exploit the full potential of the one link that is keeping them connected during these difficult times. Amid network outages, connection errors, and device glitches, there is an entire generation of students who is keen to continue the learning and a clan of teachers who are willing to go extra mile to make sure that it happens. Though network dealers have seen an urge in data usage, not all the students get to experience fast network speeds. Many have access only to slower and older generation of mobiles. If it is a family of teachers, then there would be an equal number of devices connected simultaneously, each trying to find a corner to settle in for a focused teaching session. While the children of an average family compete for time slots for accessing the limited number of the gadgets available at home. In the middle of all this chaos, there is an unwavering interest in academics that keeps flowing from resolute students and an immeasurable amount of devotion from instructors. There is no waning of this spark, and there is no stopping them from teaching and learning. From nursery kids learning rhymes online to that of the PhD scholars defending their thesis in the virtual setup for Viva, the digital framework has helped students to take their education forward. Though considered a temporary regimen to be followed until the lockdown ends, digital classrooms are here to stay. Online learning has now become the only mode of study as long as work from home directives are concerned. Post-normality, it will remain a favorite and a supplement to face-to-face interaction. What this technology has to offer to the younger and older generation alike is the ease of access, the sea of options, and a wide range of available preferences. Here is a hoping that students complete their academic year and continue the learning process without interruption. As the world enters the third year of spread of the virus and is still grappling with the havoc it has created, it's worth visiting a few overlooked areas centering around the concept of peace, tranquility, and resourcefulness. A few truths have been acknowledged which were awaiting overdue long recognition. What this outbreak has shown us is that nobody can fight fate. What is destined to happen will happen. Fortune or misfortune find their way through. When nature takes its course, there is no stopping it. But amid all this chaos, the lockdown has taught us to appreciate the little things in life that we had overlooked for long, and the big things in life which were taken for granted since the beginning of the coronavirus. Before the outbreak of the corona, most of us had stopped acknowledging the significance of family and the comfort and support that we receive from them. But now we have begun to actually hang out with family more. Movement bans have forced us to discover how nice people in our family are. Instead of hurrying to leave the house and meet the acquaintances for a cup of tea around a shop, we have learned to devote time to the family now. Also, we have learned to know the value of home-cooked meals and to appreciate the culinary skills of our family members, which had been overshadowed by our desire to dine out to satiate our ever-increasing appetite of piquant foods. Post-corona, the world has witnessed the people can focus on what is really important than just simply mundane. We all can survive without expensive holidays, cruises, lavish parties, and a lot of other things. We have learned that being content is a luxury that we all can afford. We've also learned that we can do well, exceptionally well, without maliciously speaking about ill of others or being spitefully critical of others in their absence. This has also taught us that human beings have a higher purpose in life than simply just talk idle. We also learned that the world can live without war, without the urge to establish their territories, and without the need of recognition of supremacy. The world has also learned that the lockdown in certain parts of the world affecting daily lives is just a fraction of what people of Syria, Palestine, and Kashmir have experienced over the last few decades. In these difficult times, the world has witnessed a wave of short clips and videos by concerned netizens using friends and families to stay indoors till the danger subsides. In these difficult times, we have also learned that not all hope is lost, neither kindness is dead. We have witnessed compassionate souls go an extra mile to make sure that the needy don't struggle for square meals. We have learned that wildlife too has a right to venture to the jungle. We had ventured and settled into their territory for so long that the lockdown prompted them to stroll down the deserted streets in bewilderment. We've also learned that union is strength, no, irrespective of the fact of religious beliefs. We've learned that it is not the survival of the fittest, it is the survival of the kindest. Also, we have learned that if life can go on, even if it slows down, as W.H. Davis had more than a century ago written in his poem Ledger, what is this life if full of care? We have no time to stand and stare. 110 years later, his grievance is finally addressed in the most unexpected way. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mudassir Ahmad Gori, for sharing your thoughts. Now, since there are no more papers to be presented,
Has she joined?
she has joined there.
She has joined. Call Sadhya.
I'm sorry. We have one more paper to be presented. Next paper presenter is Ms. Sadia Parveen. Sadia, you please come forward and present your paper. Over to you. I have one request. Please make your presentation very brief and please take the matter of time into
sir.
your presentation. Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes, you can.
Hello. Yes. Thank you, sir. Respected chief guest, administration body, teachers, students, host of today's session. अस्सलाम वालेकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। ये तेरा करम है कि तू मुझे बाइस सदी इफ्तिखार दे, ये तेरा करम है कि तू मुझे बाइस सदी इफ्तिखार दे, फकीर शहर इल्म हूँ ज़कात एतबार दे, और मैं जैसे तैसे लफ्ज घड़ के आ गई हूँ, अब ये तेरा काम है कि तू बना दे या बिगाड़ दे. Let me introduce myself. I, Sadia Parveen Nihal Ahmed, Department of Urdu and Persian from MGV's Arts, Commerce and Science College, Malegaon City. Today, I present my article. The topic of my article is Teaching English Online with Zoom Application. I have some abstract. As we know that e-learning will liberate the heavy labor of teachers and enables students to easily master English. The development of computer and information technology offers a favorable external environment for English teaching. The paper presents issues associated with the introduction of effective educational technologies to the students. The review of the use of Zoom technology in education is presented. The current problems of introduction of distance learning technologies in teaching English language to students are determined. The experience of distance learning for teaching students a foreign language by the electronic educational resource Zoom is described. Now, I want to say that मैं यहाँ पर आप लोगों के सामने मेरा आर्टिकल जो पेश कर रही हूँ उसमें जूम को हाईलाइट करने वाली हूँ और इसकी के ही कीवर्ड्स को मैं आगे प्रेजेंट करना चाहती हूँ जिसमें मैंने शामिल किया है e-learning, distance learning technologies, English language teaching students, Zoom technology. So, I forwarding my article and say that the importance of English language cannot be underestimated because it is the vehicle of thought and communication. The English language is a national and international medium of oral communication. By so doing, it has led to the exchange of feelings and effects, which has contributed tremendously to the socio-economical and political development of any state. The need to inculcate the use of English in teaching and learning in education is what this study attempts to demonstrate. The need for this is to broaden the horizon of knowledge and the spectrum of development which would cut across all the levels of education. So, dear audience, as we know that today's era is an online era. बच्चे कहें, टीचर्स कहें, हर किसी को किसी न किसी नहेज पर ऑनलाइन टीचिंग लर्निंग प्रोसेस को आगे बढ़ाना ही है, जिसके लिए जूम एप्लीकेशन जो है और इसके अलावा बहुत सारे प्लेटफॉर्म हैं, लेकिन इसी के साथ साथ इंग्लिश की जो इम्पोर्टेंस है उसको भी हमें मद्देनजर रखना होगा. इंग्लिश को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए, उसमें कमांड हासिल करने के लिए, इंक्लूडिंग मी, मैं खुद भी आगे बढ़ना चाहती हूँ और इसके लिए जद्दोजहद करना चाहती हूँ. So, I want to call that we are living in a world where technology is omnipresent. The phrase online learning has become the buzzword in educational environment. Infusing technology into education is really important as it caters the need of the contemporary learners. The classroom environment today is completely different from the traditional classroom. As we know that कल के सेशन में भी हमने सुना मानू के जो इंग्लिश के टीचर्स थे उन्होंने भी कहा कि हमारा जो क्राइटेरिया लर्निंग का था पास्ट में जो था वो बहुत ज्यादा चेंज हो गए, है ना. हम कहते थे लंच के बाद मिलते हैं, लेक्चर स्टार्ट करते हैं, लेकिन आज जो सिचुएशन है वो एकदम डाइवर्स हो गई है. हम कहते हैं कि बात मत करो, म्यूट करो, साइलेंस रहो, ओपन द कैमरा, म्यूट द कैमरा, राइट इन चैट बॉक्स, लाइक दिस. The technological component of learning is constantly growing. More and more classes are taking place online, yet rather than simply being a substitute of classroom courses, they can be blended with a classroom-based approach. This often offers students more engaging and motivating experience. The electronic educational resource Zoom has helped to introduce a number of innovations into foreign language instruction. The widespread use of methods, activities, and tools of computer-assisted language learning enabled many teachers all over the world, including India, to enhance their teaching and maximize learning opportunities for their students. Fortunately, more and more high schools on the one hand and households on the other have computers and internet access to make technology-assisted learning possible. Typically, there are two sets of English teachers interested in experimenting with online teaching: those who are considering using distance learning courses for students who can't attend classes, those who are looking to supplement their classroom teaching with more interactive or personalized online components. In a situation where more and more of us need to stay home, we need to find other ways to meet. Here are some tips and advice for university teachers and also college teachers, school teachers on what can be good to think about and do in online teaching with the e-meeting service Zoom. The online distance learning tools are changing the world we live in and the way we learn to live. One of the new original software-based conference room solutions is Zoom technology. Zoom is a cloud-based service which offers meeting and webinars and provides content sharing and video conferencing capability. It helps, for example, English teachers bring their students together in a frictionless environment to get more done. Zoom is the leader in modern enterprise video communications, with an easy, reliable cloud platform for video and audio conferencing, collaboration, chat, and webinars across mobile devices, desktops, telephones, and room systems. Zoom's feature allow English teachers to explore and assess the four skills through rich interactions with students. In addition to screen sharing, Zoom motivates English teachers can share screen, making lessons more interactive. English teachers can record their lessons to the cloud or locally. Students can also record and turn recording on and off as many times as they like during lesson. If the teacher enables this feature, teachers can record lessons and watch them again to assess students' strengths and weaknesses, and learners can self-assess their skills by watching recorded lessons. Students can watch the recorded lessons in a sequence to see their improvement over time. In addition, English teachers can assess students' development by showing the recorded lessons to another English, English teacher whom they trust and asking for constructive feedback. Zoom grants English teacher to present the content of their lessons in various ways. Zoom's screen sharing can give English teachers great opportunity to develop students' intellectual skills by sharing engaging materials such as videos and articles and presentations. During lessons and after watching them, English teachers can encourage students to use active questioning to analyze and evaluate their learning. Educators could also ask students to reflect on their real lessons by recording a video and online distance learning in educational process has become a buzz in in the education, and today it caters to the need of modern day learners. Infusing technologies in classroom learning have added to stimulus and enhanced learners' interaction. In the classroom, distance learning has a vast presence in almost every field. Language teaching is one such field where technology has taken over and improved the ways of learning. As for the strengths of an online distance learning course, the following come to mind. By delivering different online resources,
Sadia, I think there is some network issue with you. We can't hear you properly.
uh, yes, I continue.
Yes,
Yes, sir, I
please
will
continue.
continue that.
Please.
By delivering different online resources to individual students so they can work on them in their own time. As English has turned into a universal language, its presence and value in the world has expanded enormously in the past decades. But if language teachers teach as they taught earlier, then the required goals of learning English language may not be achieved in the present global scenario. There will be certainly be an increased dynamism in the field of educational software and teaching techniques using the computer. Perhaps most universities will benefit in the future of equipment and necessary resources for online distance learning. Online distance learning is thus an option of lifelong learning in the information society. As we all know very well, performance is given by the class audience. This time, students are free to enroll in one course or another and are free to leave the course if it is ineffective. Transmission of information, learning in an open, professional system continuously supported by special pedagogical methods and techniques becomes a commodity that can be brought. Even if online distance learning cannot completely replace traditional learning methods, it can facilitate learning or even provide more effective solutions. Its success depends on the quality of the solution adopted and, of course, the degree of students' motivation based on these research findings. It seems that Zoom technology is a great tool for collaboration. Students can use the chat box with another learner, with their English teacher, or with the group. They can see everyone's camera and listen to everyone. English teachers can use the breakout rooms to group learners in pairs, threes, or in whatever size group they want. It's a great way to encourage pair work or group work and allow students to work independently. From my own experience as an online English teacher, Zoom has become an indispensable technology for the way we work, teach, and learn together. Zoom has the capability of hosting 100 participants at a time, including audio and video. The platform is designed so that even with limited bandwidth, it works well. With Zoom's continued improvement in new features, we are excited to continue to find new and creative ways to create social presence in our classroom of education. To sum up, with the technology brought by Zoom, students will forget that their English teacher is a few thousand miles away from them. The innovative approach of Zoom technology enhances positive learning outcomes for diverse group of students as well as encouraging higher education in remote areas while potentially reducing workloads for English teachers. Now, I want to end my article and want to some Urdu couplets for Manu. कि इसी मेहराब से एक रास्ता सदरंग निकलेगा, इसी मेहराब से एक रास्ता सदरंग निकलेगा, सफर जब खत्म होगा हर मुसाफिर दंग निकलेगा। और इन्हें अपनी सी कोशिश में लगा रहने दो फिर देखो, इन्हें अपनी सी कोशिश में लगा रहने दो फिर देखो, ये जिस पौधे को छू लेंगे वही खुश रंग निकलेगा। थैंक यू ऑल ऑफ यू।
Thank you, Sadia Parveen, for your presentation. With that, sorry. Yes, I'll. With that, the paper presentation is over. Now, I was just remembering the words of famous English poet Andrew Marvell. But at my back, I always hear the time's winged chariot hurrying near. But here, the time is, I think, not the time of eternity, the time for hunger, lunch, like that. So let us come to the concluding remarks. Now, I request the chairperson, Faiz sir, to share your reflections, comments, and suggestions of the papers already presented here. And sir, we have one question in the chat box asked by some of the participants that's related to the communication skill and the skill of speaking. How can we improve our English speaking fluency? And how can we improve our communication skill? I hope you will give some answer to this question also during your concluding remarks. Please, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Samad. It's been my pleasure to be a part of this two-day national seminar on teaching English online. I am really grateful to CPDUMT for giving me this opportunity. Now, coming directly to the papers, as you said, the time is also to be taken into consideration. The first paper was presented by Ms. Khairun Nisa. She made her presentation on teaching drama online. The paper presented the problem and challenges in general of online teaching, and in particular about the teaching of drama. We do agree that teaching of drama has always been a challenge for we English teachers, because drama is something which is not to be taught, it is something which is to be watched. It is meant to be performed, not to be taught in the classroom. Now, teaching it online, it has become all the more a greater challenge. The paper also presented some of the challenges like the accessibility, the socio-economic background, the place of study, which students usually face, then the lack of physical interaction. That is again a very great challenge, because we as teachers, when we are in the classroom, we get to face the student. The students are there in front of us, and there is so much of conversation taking place between the teacher and the student without even talking to them. But here the challenge is that you have virtual students in front of you, and on top of it, the camera is also switched off most of the times. Now, how to interact with them? That is again a challenge. But still, these challenges are to be met. What I liked about this presentation was that Ms. Khairunisa, she shared some of the different techniques which she has herself used and tested in her classrooms. Now that should be really applauded, because as teachers, we really need to talk about our own experiences. And she shared some of the techniques of teaching grammar and drama in the classroom. Overall, it was a very good paper, and I congratulate Ms. Khairunisa for that. The second paper, a brilliant paper by Dr. Syed Aman Ubaid on visual literacy. Circumstances rule men, men do not rule circumstances. Very true. And online, switching on to the online mode of education is an example of that. When we talk about learning of language or acquisition of language, we know that acquisition of language is much more easy when it comes through visual signs. And that is what has been very effectively being used in this paper. Dr. Ubaid tried to put forth that how English teaching can be done effectively through visual signs, that is one, and how online teaching can best be used for that. One thing that he mentioned, and I also do agree with him fully, is that making students active participants. That is a big challenge before us. How to make students the active participant in the process of online education system. We keep trying different ways, but still, I think there is no foolproof way of achieving that. And I hope one day we teachers will find some way or the other to meet that. Then the third paper was presented by Dr. Mudassir Gauri. It was based on his observation, pandemic crisis and teaching. Initially, online teaching was imposed on us, very true. And that gave birth to words like neophobia and technophobia, the phobia of getting new things, getting acquainted to new things. And that applies to all the stakeholders, be it teachers or be it the students. But with the passage of time, we have got adapted, both the teachers and the students, we have got adapted to it. Challenges have been there. There are still challenges that we teachers are facing in imparting education through online mode, but these challenges are to be met, ways are to be found out. It is witnessed that one point that I want to make here is that it is witnessed that online teaching is stuffed with facts, which I do not really agree with. Like, I feel that education or teaching should be full of ideas, not facts. Facts anybody can find anywhere. You just open Google and you'll get the facts. So this is one thing that we as teachers have to keep in mind, that online education should not be an overflow of facts. The ideas, the creativity of the teacher should not be lost in the process. So we as teachers have to keep an eye on that, and that will make online teaching all the more effective. Then the last paper was presented by Ms. Sadia Parveen on teaching English online with Zoom platform. It was a kind of bird's eye view on the situation of the online language education, with a special focus on the use of Zoom platform. We would have loved the presentation had it been focusing on how Zoom platform gets an upper hand on the other online platforms that are available. Because the features that she talked about, all these features are there on the other platforms as well. So it would have been all the more interesting had she focused upon what special features are there which are not available on the other online platforms. Introducing these online tools for imparting education was a kind of challenge for us in the initial days. And it is still, I would say, a challenge, because we say that we have been quite successful in reaching to our students, but when it comes to ground reality, the reality is the other way around. If you look across the length and width of the country, we realize that English, when it comes to English language education, English education is being done through a bilingual method. We talk about the Zoom platform and Meet and all this and that, the different tools. But how many tutorial videos are there about how to use these platforms in mother tongue? We do have videos coming in from the West about how to use Zoom platform or Meet platform or this or that. But I have never come across any video, any tutorial video in mother tongue, in Hindi or in Urdu. That is the need of the hour. Because the reality is that we still have 70% of the students who are bilingual, who do not have that linguistic ability to comprehend things in second language or foreign language when it comes to teaching of English. So that has to be looked upon, and we as teachers, we really need to do something about it. Some tutorials, some training classes to the students wherein they are taught how to use these. We as teachers have somehow or the other learned to use these technological tools. But what about the students who come from rural background? And my colleagues from the MANUU, they'll agree with me. We face so many difficulties, so much of difficulty when it comes to examination. The students from the rural background, they face so much of difficulty uploading their papers. So that is something very practical thing that we need to, that is to be addressed to. Now coming to the question that you said that somebody asked, that how we can use, we can improve our communication skills. A very quick response on that. We get so many books on how to learn English in 21 days or how to learn English in 30 days. किताबें जैसे Rapidex type की किताबें. But does that mean that one can really learn English by using those books? I don't think so. You can get hold of a book on how to learn swimming in 30 days, but just mere reading of the book, will that teach you how to swim? You will not be able to learn swimming, or you will not be able to learn how to ride a bicycle unless and until you get on a bicycle, unless and until you jump into the swimming pool. So the same applies to your communication skills. In order to improve your communication skill, you need to jump into that pool. You need to communicate, you need to talk, you need to interact with people. You'll make mistake. One tends to make mistake, and mistake is the first step to learning. So that is what Guru Mantra which I can give to the question which has been asked, I suppose, by some of the students. And I once again thank CPDUMT for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much. And thank you and congratulations to all the paper presenters. Thank you.
Thank you, Faiz sir. Thanks for your great observation and productive remarks on the papers already presented here. I hope your remarks and your comments will be useful for the audience and as well as the paper presenters. Now we are reaching to the end part of this session. I officially express my sincere thanks for our chairperson, Dr. S. Muhammad Faiz sir, for being with us for the last almost 2 hours. Thank you very much, sir. And I express sincere thanks to all the paper presenters, Ms. Khairun Nisa N from MANUU Hyderabad, Dr. Sayyid Aman Ubaid from MANUU Hyderabad, Dr. Mudassir Ahmad Gori from MANUU Hyderabad, and Ms. Sadia Parveen from Malgaon, Maharashtra. With this, with the permission of Chair, I wish to officially announce the closure of this session. And before that, let me bring an announcement to the audience who are watching our program through YouTube channel. Our next session will start at 3 o'clock. It will be a panel discussion that comprises different eminent academicians from different parts of India, from MANUU Satellite Campus, Lucknow, BITS Hyderabad, MANUU City Bhopal, and KVS Mumbai. So all of you are requested to be here right 3 o'clock and to join and watch the program through this channel. Your participation will be highly appreciated. I once again thank all of you, and I personally express my sincere thanks and gratitude to Professor Abdul Sami Siddiqui sir for giving me this opportunity to host this session. And with that, we have come to the end of the program. Thank you very much.